clock is running. Today, the quest for the 2006 ARCA REMAX Series Championship begins. But right now, the field is focused on an event that carries all the pressure and prestige of any championship. This is Daytona. Blindingly fast and notoriously unforgiving. It's not a question of if, but when something will happen here.
Oh, slides. Oh, we got cars everywhere. Oh, we've got Cleaver flipping down the back straightaway.
Nearly the entire field has been held winless on this 2.5-mile monster. Who will go to victory lane today? The 2006 ARCA REMAX season starts right now at Daytona.
We're under cloudy skies to kick off the first race of the season for the Daytona ARCA 200 in the ARCA REMAX Series from Daytona International Speedway. 10 jet dryers have made their way out onto the racetrack, and that is a very good sign, meaning that hopefully very soon we'll be going to racing this 2.5-mile tri-oval. And yesterday, qualifying took place from here. It was a lot nicer day as we had the sun pretty much the whole day. The rain has come just briefly, so it came in about 2 hours ago and has obviously dampened the spirits of most of the drivers, thinking that they were going to get out onto the racetrack at 4 o'clock, which right now, as they are drying that track, we're not quite to that point, but we will get to it shortly. Again, yesterday qualifying took place, and we've talked a little bit about it, but Bobby Gearhart, a very strong performance, but he had to do it late because early on it was a driver developmental program driver in Matt McCall who was able to get out, grab the pole. He was giving advice to his teammate Stephen Light. Stephen went out and ran the second fastest time, and then later on in qualifying it was Bobby Gearhart who again was able to claim the top spot for the 4th consecutive year, setting a record and knocking Benny Parsons out of the record books as far as the most poles that anyone had ever gained while they were at the Daytona International Speedway. Well, again, everyone, I'm Rick Allen alongside of Dan Pardis. Now, Dan, when the rain comes like this, it obviously makes it difficult for everyone because now it's a hurry up and wait situation.
Yeah, it does. And as a driver, you mentally prepare yourself to go. You know, an hour and a half ago, these drivers were ready to rock. An hour. It just started raining here some 45 minutes ago, and again, you get pumped up, you talk to your crew chief, you make all final preparations and mental preparations in your head, and that all's kind of out the window right now here for another hour or so. Hopefully we get this place dried off. So, yeah, it does slow you down, but they'll pick back up. They're professionals.
And speaking of professionals and getting pumped up, let's go down to Don Radeby. I think he's standing by with the #1 man here at Daytona.
You know I am, Rick. After a 4th consecutive pole award, a record there, Bobby Gearhart has his eye on a much bigger prize, what could be a record 4th Daytona ARCA 200 victory, and you've pulled out all the stops, Bobby. I know you've logged over 500 miles testing for this race. You've got a brand new race car, obviously a rocket. You've hired the MB2 Cup crew to service the car. What is it about this place that's so important for you?
Well, a year or two ago, I guess maybe about 15 years ago, my first trip into this place was a NASCAR test session. I came through the gate maybe 6:30 a.m. and the layout was different then. You come across the grandstands, across the racetrack, and they had a pretty nostalgic look at the front stretch, just dimly lit, and just gave me an instant charge, kind of put goosebumps from elbow to shoulder, and you know, from that point, I knew this was going to be a special place for us. It took a while to get in high gear, so to speak, and it maybe took a decade before things really got rolling, but they're certainly rolling our way now. We intend to keep them going.
Indeed they are. Now, you brought 3 teams here, the 94 car, G.R. Smith, and the 7, rookie Andrew Myers. Is that not a distraction from your team?
Oh, no. First of all, doing what we do, I know it doesn't make me the most popular guy in this garage area, so...
well, I'm crazy about you.
Well, we know that, but I'm just trying to get by with a little help from my friends, so to speak. So I'm real proud of my crew. They put a tremendous effort into a 3-car team, and to come here and to put 3 cars in the top 10 and have the first 3 Chevrolets, it shows we're serious, no doubt.
I think we better keep an eye on the Bobby Gearhart Racing stable. Wendy Venturini.
Well, Ron, excuse me, Don, you may talk about Bobby Gearhart and the history that he has with Daytona, but Matt McCall, he's a developmental driver for Robert Yates Racing, and he's never even been to Daytona. And actually, he just drafted for the first time this weekend. Matt, what did you think about this place?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little overwhelming. We got the test here, you know, and for the December test. But, I mean, to go out there and draft, we didn't draft with too many people, you know, just me, Justin, and Steven. But it's different when you go out there, and it gives you a different feel, but it's fun.
Okay, so you don't have a whole lot of experience drafting. Why did you decide not to go out in happy hour in the important drafting practice?
Because we made a commitment to City Financial to make sure we start these races and they're supporting us, and we're looking for experience. And we're going to get experience as races with 41 cars on the racetrack. So that's why I went ahead and decided to skip happy hours. We got to do a little bit. And I don't really think you can simulate exactly what's going to be going on in the race anyway.
Now, there's a lot of veterans out there. What have you learned with them and along with your other two teammates in the series this weekend?
You bring up a good point. We actually went out there and drafted with Kimmel for a little bit, and I don't know, it gives you a little more comfort knowing when you're around him. I mean, you know, some of these other guys you don't know in the series, I mean, they've got plenty of experience, but it's still a comfort thing when you get out there drafting people because it's all about being real tucked up close to people, so it's interesting.
Bobby Gearhart, our series veteran, starting on the pole, but Matt McCall, he'll be starting second this weekend.
We take a look at the rookies and where they will start, and that almost, I guess you would say, would almost bring out caution in the fact that you have got a lot of rookies starting up front. 9 in the top 14.
It's unbelievable. I mean, look at the top 10. You got half the top 10's rookies, and then you just fall on through the field. As you say, you got, but the first two cars, you got Robert Yates. You got two good cars there. You got good guidance. You got Everham cars, Erin Crocker. We've got some good guidance in these guys, and as long as these guys listen and behave, they'll be okay. And, you know, ARCA preaches a lot. That's one thing about the ARCA REMAX series. They do a great job in the drivers' meetings, talking to the drivers, preaching, guys, you're not going to win this race on the first lap. We got a long way to go, 200 miles. Use your head. And past future has proven that we can get trouble here in a hurry. So if these guys listen, we'll be fine here today at Daytona.
Danny Quinn, another one of those driver developmental program drivers, and they continue to have fun in Lake Lloyd. That got a little more full as the rain had come down. When the cars take to the track, it's bumper to bumper fast-paced racing, and if it's anything like last year, it could be high-flying action. The rain has stopped, and the jet dryers are currently on the track trying to dry off the track at Daytona International Speedway. As you see by the cameras, there is still precipitation in the area, but right now it's not coming down onto this racetrack. Let's track down and see if we found another driver for Don.
Oh, I found one all right. He would be Pittsboro, Indiana's Matt Hagens, who qualified very well for this event. You qualified 4th. You're in a car that you wrecked testing at Talladega, and I'll also add that you did finish 5th in last year's Daytona ARCA 200, a lot into the mix. But can you win this thing?
Yeah, I think so. First of all, you mentioned we popped a tire at Talladega testing about 3 weeks ago. The guys worked really hard for 11 days to put the car back together. We've got a really strong motor package, and it was good in the qualifying. It was really good in the draft. I think we have a legitimate shot to win, Don.
Yeah, you were good qualifying, good in all the practice sessions, right at the top. What about the rest of the season for you outside of Daytona? Is this your one and only shot this year?
Well, I hope so. I think Donnie, we've got company out here, and Frank Kimmel helping us out here, Don.
We'll see enough of Frank later on, usually.
Usually. He'll be up there. He's got a good car. No, this year Donnie Lee is going to drive most of the speedway races. Then we're going to fill it in. I may drive some more races. Donnie may add some more races to his schedule. But, you know, our team's about winning races and doing driver development. Both, that's our two goals.
And right now, today, I guess we're developing Matt Hagens. You guys do an in-house engine program, true?
Yeah, in-house engine program. This is our 4th year with our in-house engine. Greg Grossy runs that program, and I'm pretty happy. You know, we're competing with the Cup guys at this place, Don, and I think we're making as much power as they are today.
Yeah, and I'll add that engine builder built the engines for Joey Miller last year, who finished 2nd in points, so we know he's got good stuff.
Good stuff. I hear the jet dryer's running. We may get to play tonight, Don.
Let's go fire him up. We're ready for the 43rd annual Daytona ARCA 200. We hope to bring it to you very, very soon, gentlemen.
I agree, Don. We hope to do that. He had mentioned Joey Miller, Rookie of the Year last year after finishing second in the points. He was actually involved in a late race accident at this race last year. Got a little bit sideways, got loose, and that's the 60 that's upside down. That one driven by Todd Cleaver. Later on, you see that one getting upside down and rolling, but we highlight the 25 of Billy Venturini. Now, a couple hard hits into the wall, but that is nothing compared to what happens now as he comes to a stop, and bam. You would normally think that it's all over right then, but he gets hit very hard right in the front. Billy Venturini injured in this accident, but in just over a week's time, he's back in the shop and checking out that car that was definitely damaged in that accident. Let's go down and talk to him with his sister, Wendy Venturini.
Thanks, Rick. It's been a long time since I've actually seen that video, but it's forever in both of our heads. Billy and I were just joking around. He was asking me if he had food in his teeth. We're not talking about the wreck. We're putting it behind us, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm not talking. There was an article in the Daytona paper and stuff like that, and I'm not reading or talking about it anymore. I talked about it yesterday. Today's race day. I'm here to run well today and possibly win the race today. And last season's last season. Don't really care about it now, and we'll talk about it afterwards. But from today, my focus is on what's going to happen. Well, whenever it is, then we get to race. But I got one fantastic race car for the race today. It was awesome in happy hour, qualified like a slug, but I couldn't believe how good it drove yesterday. And we got a real good shot, possible shot to win the race today.
Now, I was just going to say, quite honestly, your car was not that great in the very first practices, and you qualified 33rd, but then in drafting yesterday, you were top 5 on the charts. What did you guys do?
Nothing. I don't know. I couldn't believe it because we ran it everywhere in the pack. We ran it up front, in the middle, the back, and it ran great everywhere. It drives great. It's super fast. It's maybe the best race car I've ever had in the draft, and possibly the worst one I've ever had by itself. So can't figure it out. Sometimes you just beat your head up against the wall trying to figure out what happens. But as long as it runs good on race day, I can deal wherever I got to start. But I think we got a real good shot whenever it is we get to race, hopefully tonight, or if not, tomorrow morning.
All right, you've had a really long weekend, though. You've changed engines, you had radiator issues. How do you overcome all that throughout the week and look ahead to a great race day?
You can't dwell on anything that happens throughout the week. When that race starts, you got to just look at the task at hand, and you go out there and you run the best you can, and you can't start to. You never in this sport can ever feel like, man, it's getting hard, man, things aren't going our way. If you do, you aren't going to be tough enough to handle it in this deal. Same thing like with everything else that you're dealt throughout racing. It can be sponsors, it can be whatever it may be. You just you always stay after it, and you don't ever look at what isn't, and you look at what possibly can be.
All right, now, since it's a rain delay, we get to joke around a little bit. So tell me, what do you do in the rain delay, Bill?
Well, right now we're all sitting in there watching my little baby sister on TV, and I'm trying to convince my girlfriend at Speed Channel. She's never actually seen it before, and I tried to explain everything to her. Racing's new to her, so been explaining that, and trying to convince her that it is the best channel on TV, so we'll have her convinced real quick.
Well, I'm sure Speed appreciates that, but we just had a recent change in that. It's just Speed now, Bill, just Speed. Leave out the channel. We're the new Speed.
Same difference, like it matters. I don't draw a check from the place until they start, giving me some kind of royalty. They can just be grateful I get some kind of deal. Now, if you want to give me some kind of kickback, or how about at least trying to pick up dinner every now and then, instead of having your big brother always pick up dinner, then maybe I'll make sure I get the Speed right instead of Speed Channel.
I can't believe he actually admitted that he did buy dinner last time, and he just admitted that I actually am younger. That's a first, too.
Rick,
that was definitely a slip on his part, but hey, yeah, I am the younger one in the family. Rick?
Well, Wendy, just let him know as we're going off air here as far as going to break, if he would have mentioned his girlfriend's name, that may have helped him out a little bit as far as, later on down the road here.
Rick Allen just said you're in big trouble because you didn't mention your girlfriend's name.
Oh, I have my girlfriend Jenny. Of course, she knows who she is.
Right.
She doesn't. I'm not generalizing. she's in the lounge watching it right now.
All right, she got a name mentioned. Maybe that will make up for it. Go buy her dinner, Rick.
Everybody likes to hear their name on television, and so Jenny gets her name mentioned as well. As we are still watching the jet dryers make their way around the 2.5-mile trioval here at Daytona International Speedway. The countdown continues to the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, running Sunday, February 19th. And you see the Valvoline countdown to green. Welcome back to rain delay coverage of the Daytona ARCA 200 for the ARCA REMAX Series. Let's go back down to the garage and Don Radebaugh.
Thanks, Rick. I'm with Super Mario Gosselin from Lake Wales, Florida. You got to love this story. Only 17 ARCA REMAX Series start, and he won 2 races already in your career first start way back in '99 at Lowe's. You don't show up very often, but when you do, always come to play. What about your piece here today? You qualified 9th.
Well, we got a good car. We've been top 10 all weekend, qualified 9th, and we worked on it really hard yesterday in happy hour. Wasn't very happy with the way the car was drafting. First.
You weren't happy in happy hour?
No, I wasn't happy. Not in the beginning. But we got the car a lot better, and I feel like we can stay in the top 10 all day.
Okay, and I think we ought to keep an eye on the 12 car. Mario Gosselin, look for him to be up front here today. Rick.
Well, Don, it's getting a little darker. We had hoped that the precipitation was going to stop. It might come back again, but that's not dampening the spirits of our jet dryers. They're still on the track, drying the track. Hopefully we will be getting this one underway quickly, but it's getting a little bit darker overhead. So we'll find out when we come back if we're able to get this one underway on its scheduled time slot. We'll be back with more from Daytona. The rough and tough NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns to speed February 17th. Ted Musgrave clinched his championship, but can he take the elusive Daytona victory with his new team? Catch all the paint, trade, and action of NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live from Speed Weeks at Daytona, February 17th only on Speed. Brian, continuing on the racetrack, let's go down to Wendy Venturini, see who she's caught up with.
There are several development driver programs here in the ARCA Series, and one of them at Daytona is Everham Motorsports. Erin Crocker, of course, driving for him. Erin, tell me about this weekend. How does this weather play an effect with you?
Well, there's not much you can do about it. Unfortunately, that's part of racing. It's Mother Nature. So, obviously, I'm anxious to get underway for the race, and it's never fun to have to sit around and wait for it. But, like you said, you just have to make lighthearted of it, and really excited to get out there. We have some people from General Mills, Hamburger Helper here. They're on the car for all my ARCA races. So, it's a big race for me. First race at Daytona. So, hopefully, we'll get it in.
Now you are in the spotlight because you are one of those developmental drivers. You'll be starting 10th. How do you think you'll learn from some of the veterans out there? What are you expecting from some of the rookies who have never drafted?
I don't know what to expect, really. You know, I've only done a limited amount of drafting. We ran Talladega in the fall. But hopefully you can just have a clean race and get a solid finish. That's what I really want. And I'm going to have my truck race here next week, which is probably, more important, start that full season off in the truck. So this is really a race to get my feet warm and get some experience.
Tell us about the rest of the season. How excited are you about running all these different series?
I'm really excited. I have a big year ahead of me. I'm running the full truck series in the number 98 Cheerios Betty Crocker Dodge Ram. I'm running 6 ARCA races in the Hamburger Helper Dodge Charger and 7 Busch races in the Cheerios Betty Crocker number 98 Dodge Charger.
That is quite a mouthful, but you know what? Ray Everham taught you well. She got them all in there. Good luck to you today. Back to you guys.
Well, and Erin Crocker looking to better her career best of 2nd, which she earned at Kentucky a year ago. She'd like to break into the record winners category as far as breaking a record of the first female to ever win a race in the ARCA Series.
Well, she's surely with the right team, and she's in good company, and she's well on her way. She's run very good last year in select races in the ARCA REMAX Series, and she's done awesome.
Another guy wanting to break a record, Bobby Gearhart. 3 wins coming into today's race. He sits on the pole. Only Iggy Katona is the only other driver that's been able to win 3 races at this famed 2.5-mile track. 5 other drivers tied at 2 wins apiece at Daytona International Speedway. They continue to dry the racetrack. We want to get this one underway. We hope to when we come back. The Valvoline countdown to green continues. Counting down to the Daytona 500 being run Sunday, February 19th. And we continue to count down the minutes and seconds until we get this one underway. Jet dryers still making their way around the track. Right now, Don Radebaugh is caught up with Scott Lagasse.
Well, thanks, Rick. Some of the new faces in the ARCA REMAX Series. Scott Lagasse makes his career first start, and wouldn't you know it, it'd be at the Crown Jewel Daytona. Excited? Nervous? What do you hope to learn out there tonight?
I'm real excited. By the way, welcome to Florida. This is home for me. So obviously I'm real excited. Grew up here, going to races. Just cannot wait to get around this place, and got a lot to learn. Fortunately, I got David and Reed and Casey. I've been wearing them out, picking their brains, and then we're gonna have Lauren Rainier on the top. So we'll be good. We'll come out of here in one piece, and that's the goal, so we can go to California in the truck.
Sounds like you've got some great help. I'll mention that Scott Lagasse's father won an ARCA road course race on the streets of Des Moines, Iowa back in 1994. 2nd-generation driver in the field here tonight.
Scott Lagasse taking advice from his father as well. His father travels around the country with him and tries to attend every race. Scott Lagasse will be running some NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races this year as well. So a lot of experience for young drivers.
A lot of, again, he's with the Ganassi group, fine group. He told me the story there. Chip called him last year and said, you know, we want you to be part of our R&D program. Could you come to work for me? He said, I'm still in college. I can't quit. I can't come see you. Chip said, listen, just come see me. Get on an airplane, come see me. He talked to him. He signed. He says, what do I do about school? He says, listen, you're going to finish school. You're not going to do this deal unless you finish your college. So that's exactly what Scott did. So real fortunate for Scott. He's with a great group. His father's, you know, just tickled. They're from St. Augustine, Florida. His dad's a great racer, so he's with some really good people here today.
Scott Lagasse would be tickled pink if he could put his name alongside his father's as far as winning an ARCA race. Look at the ones who have won the most races. Iggy Katona, 79 races. Frank Kimmel, active, running right now. He has or will start his 304th start in the ARCA REMAX Series, making him the most starts in active drivers. Looking to get that 15 wins to be able to put his name as the most wins ever in the ARCA REMAX Series. He's got about every other record, so why not add that record to the list of records that he's got? We've got alternate programming coming up. Following us as we are waiting for this track to dry. We'll come back and give you updates periodically. But following us off will be the NASCAR past champions, Buck Baker. So stay tuned to Speed.